Hello everyone, and I'm Autobot Sonic the Telltale Gamer, bringing listener in Telltale Games, Transformers, and more. Welcome back to another video on Transformers EarthSpark. So I hope you guys haven't missed me too much. If you didn't catch my video I posted a few weeks ago earlier this month going over the announcement of EarthSpark Expedition and a few leaked pictures about the final episodes of Transformers EarthSpark Season 1. I was away most of this month just because I was out hanging out with my boyfriend, but now I am back, ready to get back into YouTube just in time for the last batch of Transformers EarthSpark Season 1 to be coming out next week, and I could not be more excited. So as I was only a day off with my predictions, but I was pretty much right thanks to the leak from the German news site. So according to an official statement by Paramount Plus made at San Diego Comic-Con 2023 today, this video will be going up the next day though on the 22nd, or I guess the 21st now, we will be getting the final batch of Transformers EarthSpark Season 1, that's episodes 19 through 26, next week on Friday, July 28th, at roughly midnight to 3 a.m. in the morning. So I am super excited. We're finally going to see Season 1 of EarthSpark come to an end. And for any of you who are upset, like, oh, I don't want the EarthSpark to be over, it was such a good show, don't worry about that, because if you remember, back at New York Comic Con last year, Paramount has confirmed that a second season of EarthSpark is in the works. And actually, the voice actors for Wheeljack and Dot had actually posted on their Instagram a few weeks ago that they had begun recording lines for Dot and Wheeljack for Season 2. So, rest assured, Season 2 of EarthSpark, at the very least, is definitely going to happen. Hopefully, if things go well, we'll get a Season 3 as well, and maybe even a Season 4, so it beats Rescue Bots, the longest-running Transformers cartoon of all time. But, at the most, I would just love if we got a Season 3, at the very least, after Season 2. But, yeah, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about with Transformers EarthSpark Season 1C, as I'm going to be calling it. As we went over my last video, we talked about all the different episode leaks and their title names. But we did, of course, being San Diego Comic-Con today, we did get a 30-second trailer for the final batch of episodes of Transformers EarthSpark, as well as Paramount themselves uploading a bunch of screenshots over the past few days, especially today, of these last few episodes. So we're going to go ahead and go over this trailer and screenshots, basically seeing what we can try and figure out is going to happen in these episodes based off the pictures. Now, of course, there will be spoilers in this video talking about these last batch of episodes. So you want to go into the final batch of EarthSpark completely blind. I recommend you not watching this video. But also, as we talk about this trailer, we're going to do things a little differently this time. Usually when I review trailers, I go by like, oh, okay, so here's what happens first in the trailer, then this, then this, then that, and ends with this. This time, however, considering how it's so jumbled up, I'm actually going to talk about this trailer in the order of which scenes appear chronologically. So we're going to go over which scene which I believe takes place first in this trailer, and then work our way backwards and forwards sort of until we get to what I believe the end of the trailer is chronologically that covers the end of the season. After that, we're going to go ahead and cover up screenshots that Paramount has released of episodes that aren't covered in this trailer. But overall, that's what we're going to do. So if you're excited, be sure to like, comment, and of course subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and play the trailer that was shown at San Diego Comic-Con 2023 today for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the trailer.
Rested, ready to be tested.
The bots team up to take evil down.
And the crowd goes wild!
In the most epic battles yet.
It's now or never. I get to do what I was chosen to do.
Autobot, Decepticon, Terran, he wants to destroy us all.
Autobots, defend this home with everything you've got.
Transformers EarthSpark. Stream new episodes with your family July 28th, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Alright, the first scene I want to talk about in this trailer is right here with Jawbreaker at a junkyard with none other than Grimlock. So finally, we saw Grimlock, of course, appear at the end of Batch 1B, where we saw he was at the Bach Brawl, mind controlled by Mandroid, and he had to fight Bumblebee, Thrash, Jawbreaker, and Mo, and it ended with them managing to break the mind control on Grimlock, and he went crazy destroying the Bach Brawl, but then he was just gone after. We didn't see him, but it looks like we'll be seeing him again, and this is most likely going to be from episode 19, a Stigi situation, which we know from the leaks that we got last batch at the German news site. We know that this episode will be about Jawbreaker finally getting his alt mode as a Stigi Moloch, dinosaur, but it ends up taking control of him, or like basically he loses control of himself, and it'll be up to the Terrans and Autobots to try and calm him down. So the way I see this scene is we see Jawbreaker is still in his proto form at the junkyard with Grimlock holding a car, and the way I can see this, I think this will probably be that Jawbreaker decides he does want to get a dinosaur alt mode, but Grimlock realizes that, oh, you gotta go through all this training to make sure you can handle a dinosaur alt mode. So that's what I imagine this is basically gonna be, that Jawbreaker feels like he'll be able to, like, handle the dinosaur alt mode, even though Grimlock says that he needs more training. So maybe Jawbreaker gets annoyed with Grimlock at some point, so maybe he just goes off and sneaks to transform into the Stygimoloch, but he doesn't listen to Grimlock, so therefore he loses control, and then the rest of the episode is everyone else trying to calm Grimlock down, not Grimlock, Jawbreaker down. Again, it's not really a big thing, but it's like a very minor scene that's going to be in this episode, but again, it is really, really cool to see Grimlock finally in his full design, and I'm really happy to see how Keith David is going to be voicing him. So for any who didn't hear this back when Season 1B came out, it was announced that Grimlock and EarthSpark will be voiced by Keith David, who has done a lot of animation work in the past, and we recognize him most notably as the voice of Spawn. He did a lot of other stuff such as Gargoyles and many other things. So I'm really excited to see how Keith David plays Grimlock in EarthSpark and how he like differs from his other roles. Now, this one clip, I'm not exactly sure where it comes from, because it just doesn't seem like it would fit in anything based on all the summaries we've seen so far. This one clip seems to be, it looks like you can see Twitch and dragging Robbie away from an explosion, and behind them is none other than Megatron in this like desert, like raging. But if you notice, Megatron has the original Decepticon logo on his chest. He doesn't have the Ghost Decepticon logo that he does in the current day timeline. And the only time we've seen Megatron with his regular Decepticon badge is in flashbacks. Like if you remember back in episode 12, outtakes, when hashtag showed Jawbreaker the news report of Megatron getting his alt mode for the first time, battling Nova Storm and Skywarp at the Battle of the Bay, I believe it was. Or in episode 16, Warzone, when Megatron battled Shockwave for the EarthSpark, then he had his alt mode, or is that his regular Decepticon symbol there. It just, I'm not exactly sure what the reasoning could be for why seemingly Megatron is back to his original Decepticon logo, and Twitch and Robbie are there as well. It doesn't make any sense, but I'm interested in seeing what the context of this is. So kudos to you, Nickelodeon. I'm eager to see what you got cooking here. Now, this next clip is one that's really, really interesting. This clip is going to be from episode 22, Prime Directive, and we know this because there are a few screenshots that Paramount and Hasbro released in Nickelodeon that actually have the exact same like setting as this, and we know for a fact that those are from episode 22, so therefore we can determine this from 22 as well. Here we have, looks like a clip of Mo battling Mandroid in some sort of like astral plane of sorts. The cool thing here though is that she has some sort of like energy dagger coming out of her cyber sleeve to fight Mandroid with. And this is something we see earlier on the trailer as well, even though it technically happens after it in a future episode. So it seems as though we actually know what the cyber sleeve upgrades that Robbie and Mo are going to get in episode 20, Disarmed, and that is going to be a cyber sleeve shield and dagger respectively for Robbie and Mo. Robbie will get a cyber sleeve shield, while Mo will be getting like a cyber sleeve like wrist sword / dagger. And it's honestly really, really interesting that Robbie gets the shield and Mo gets the dagger, because Robbie's more connected to Twitch, who uses her wings as like swords, and Mo is more connected to Thrash, who uses his sidecar as a shield. And Mo's even used said sidecar as a shield back in episode 4, so would it make more sense if she got the shield and Robbie got the sword, considering he's closer to Twitch and she's good with swords, and Mo's closer with Thrash and he's good with the shield? Or maybe, I guess, maybe in the developers and the writers' minds, maybe giving Robbie the shield and Mo the sword is a way of sort of counteract, like being like sort of a foil to the Terran that they're closest bonded to. So since Robbie has the shield, he's a perfect like balance for Twitch's offense, and since Mo has the sword, she's the perfect offense to Thrash's defense. Either way, I think that's a pretty cool like connection, and it's like I'm really, really interested in seeing. While we're at it, let's go ahead and talk over a few of these screenshots actually that were posted by Paramount Plus and uploaded to that same German website of episode 22 Prime Directive. In one screenshot here we have, it seems to be like a flashback or even just at points of Mo entering her and Robbie's bedroom like in her pajamas, and To me, I feel like this might be a clip either from earlier on in the episode, or it could be like a flashback of sorts, where maybe when Mo is being like told by Quintus Prime that she's going to be the hero of the Malto family, maybe Quintus Prime shows her flashbacks of various points throughout the entire EarthSpark. And this is reinforced by this screenshot here of Mo looking at herself and Robbie finding the Emberstone all the way back in episode 1. So I really believe that this may just be sort of a clip show of sorts, where Quintus Prime will be showing Mo various moments throughout the past 21 episodes to show all the good that Mo has done because of touching the Emberstone and all of that. And this is further strengthened by a line Mo says in the trailer where she says, like, I get to do what I was chosen to do. That's what she said. And of course, the plot of episode 22 is that it will be about Quintus Prime showing Mo why she's the hero of the Maltos. So therefore, she was chosen to be the hero of the Maltos. So perhaps this mandroid that Mo is fighting on this astral plane is actually just sort of a projection of Mandroid by Quintus Prime, sort of as a way to test her of sorts. Though this does kind of get a bit iffy, considering one of the screenshots of episode 22 is of Dot in the same astral plane. So unless, like, Dot is being projected here, like, seeing all this as well alongside Mo, it doesn't really make sense. But there is also this other shot here of, looks like Robbie about to be hit by some sort of laser beam. And if you look closely at Robbie's eyes, he's got, like, all these weird veins around his eyes, and he looks a bit paler. So this could be that cyber sleeve illness that was talked about in the summary of episode 22, where it seems as though he may be slowly dying from this, and this is to sort of emphasize that it's slowly, like, draining the life from him. But we'll have to wait and see, and I'm really excited to see what happens with episode 22, though. This next clip is actually the very first clip from the trailer, and it's literally maybe only 2 seconds long, but I believe this scene will tie in with episode 23, Stowed Away, which is the episode I'm looking forward to the most, just because it's solely of the fact that it might be the one episode we have that Breakdown may appear in. So this clip basically just shows Bumblebee talking to Optimus outside this unknown area at night. We see him, like, flipping his arm into his, like, signature, like, energy cannon that we've seen him use several times throughout this episode, and he says the phrase, rested and ready to be tested. So, of course, this may be reference to the fact that if you remember back from the end of the last batch in Home Parts 1 and 2, Bumblebee ends up taking quite the beating from both Mandroid and Grimlock, where he nearly got his arm ripped off by Grimlock when he bit down on it, to the point where he was unable to transform. And then in part 2, Bumblebee ended up basically getting nearly all of his energon drained by Mandroid to power the mind control chip used on Hashtag, to the point where when they finally saved Hashtag from Mandroid, Bumblebee had just passed out completely. So maybe Bumblebee will actually be incapacitated for the majority of the first batch of these episodes, and then by the time Stowed Away comes along, that'll be the episode where he's finally feeling fit enough to go back into active duty and all that. The way I'm further emphasize this is because, of course, not only that, but the plot summary of episode 23, Stowed Away has been updated. Before, it just said that Bumblebee was going away on a secret mission, and Mo, Thrash, and the rest of the Terrans sneak on to try and make sure he comes home safe. This time, though, the plot has been updated to now it says Bumblebee is on a secret mission from Optimus to investigate Ghost instead of just a random secret mission. It's just deliberately to investigate Ghost. So that makes me even more excited for the fact that perhaps maybe this episode will truly be about Bumblebee trying to break Breakdown out. And we see a few screenshots of this episode that were posted by Paramount. We have one here of Bumblebee alone in the dugout with Nightshade. Nothing really, like, seemingly important about this, but maybe just Bumblebee giving some excuse saying, oh, Optimus needs this for a second, I'll be right back, trying to downplay from the fact that he's going on a secret mission. We have a shot here of Agent Croft and Agent Schloeder in front of what looks like Teletran 1 based on what it looked like in episode 5, Classified, looking up at someone, whether this is Optimus they're talking to or someone, we don't know. And then we have this third screenshot of what looks to be Robbie, Mo, Hashtag, Nightshade, Thrash, and Jawbreaker in his brand new final form, looking at some sort of computer screen inside the dugout. So perhaps maybe they're looking at the security cameras watching Bumblebee leave, realizing that he's going on a mission, and this is when they decide, hey, something's wrong here, we're gonna go ahead and put a stop to this. So I'm really excited for that, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Okay, so I was going to do this part at the end because it doesn't really fit into the trailer, but I feel like it's kind of a like anticlimactic if I end my analysis with just this scene. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it now, probably splice it somewhere in the middle of my video. So we're gonna be talking about a bunch of screenshots Paramount uploaded to their various websites, including some of their stage runners like Nicole Dubuck, about episode 21, which dwells within. This is what, according to the German website, is going to be the big Starscream episode. So we've got 4 screenshots of this episode to talk about. The first one we have here is of Starscream grinning inside a long hallway. That looks very similar to the Ghost jail cells, and he is surrounded by both Nova Storm and Skywarp looking at the camera as well. This is really interesting considering the last time we saw Nova Storm, she was back in episode 17 fighting Bumblebee in the Bot Brawl and doing a Family Guy death pose. So we all thought Nova Storm was dead. So either one of 2 things here. Either A, this is the Nova Storm we saw in episode 17 was just a reused asset and they just were too lazy to go ahead and make a new body for Nova Storm, or a new character for Bumblebee to fight, so they just reused Nova Storm's body and she's just been in jail this whole time. Or 2, Nova Storm didn't actually die in Bot Brawl and she managed to escape somehow, and now she's back with Starscream and Skywarp. What it is, we don't exactly know, but it is interesting. Another screenshot we have here is of Robbie, Mo, Twitch, and Nightshade looking shocked at something inside a cave. We don't exactly know what it is, but considering the plot of this episode is that they're stuck in a cave with a monster, and they gotta work with Starscream to survive, either, in my mind, this is them seeing this unknown monster, or perhaps if they're looking at Starscream, where it's revealed maybe that Starscream has just been making it up the whole time. Who knows, but that's where I believe. That's similar to this other screenshot we have here of Starscream in a green light, blinded by a green light in a cave, very similar to the one we saw in the last screenshot. He's looking up at someone with his arm outstretched like he's got his null ray pointed at someone. Again, we don't exactly know what Starscream's doing here, if he's confronting Robbie and Mo, or if instead he's looking at something else. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm super excited to see Starscream, and I'm really excited to hear Steve Bloom reprise his role as Starscream again. And then this last screenshot we have is just of Skywarp and Nova Storm in the cave, with the 2 of them also in this green light. So is the green light coming from this unknown monster chasing all of them, or maybe they're in a place filled with cave water, very similar to the one we saw back in episode 7, where Robbie and Mo followed the dehydrated Twitch and Thrash to the cave full of cave water to re-energize. But I'm not sure, but we'll have to wait and see. Alright, now we get to the big part of this trailer, and that's pretty much everything else. So the rest of this trailer seems to be presumably from the last 3 episodes of the season, and that's episode 24, the Battle of Witwicky, and episodes 25 and 26, Last Hope Parts 1 and 2. So we're going to cover this now in the order the trailer shows it in for the most part. And I am super, super excited for this, because it brings back so many characters that I'm really glad are going to be playing a big part in this show going forward. So let's go ahead. The first shot we see here, literally, presumably, I think this is going to be episode 24 of Battle of Witwicky. We see Robbie in front of Twitch with his cyber sleeve shield, surrounded by a bunch of ghost soldiers, armored like Energon prods and stuff. We even see some like having like Wheeljack, like Twitch's drone wings on their backs like jetpacks. But surrounding Robbie and Twitch also, we also see Optimus, Megatron, Alita, RC, and Wheeljack. So we're gonna finally see RC and Wheeljack again, who we haven't seen since the very first batch of EarthSpark. The last time we saw Wheeljack was his first episode back in episode 6, and the last time we saw RC was back in episode 8, Decoys. But with Alita, we finally got to see her in the second batch appearing in episode 12, but we haven't seen RC or Wheeljack since the first batch. Same with Optimus, actually. We technically did see him in the flashback of episode 16, but we never saw him physically in the second batch at all, so it'll be cool to see Optimus again. But it's just so good to see RC, Alita, and Wheeljack back, especially, to see that they're gonna actually be big characters in this last final battle. It's so good. We got a lot of other clips here, too, of this, presumably from the Battle of Witwicky. We see this shot of Robbie and Mo back-to-back with their cyber sleeve weapons. We see Twitch and Thrash beside them. We even have a matching screenshot of this with them alongside Alex and Dot, with Dot armed with a ghost rifle and Alex armed with his Cali sticks from episode 6 as well. It just looks all so good. And a lot of other stuff here, just minor stuff of Robbie and Mo, Twitch and Thrash fighting Ghost, like especially towards the end of the the trailer where we see Optimus and Megatron battling a bunch of ghost soldiers outside the barn, which we see has now been completely destroyed. And we see a shot here of Robbie riding on top of Twitch and then using his cyber sleeve shield to hit a ghost soldier that's flying in front of him. But one part that's really interesting here earlier on the trailer is we see Robbie here punch what looks to be Shockwave out in the middle of Witwicky in the face with his cyber sleeve shield. Yeah, Shockwave. So the last time we saw Shockwave, that was back in episode 16 when Megatron froze him with the immobilizer and he was taken away by Ghost to be put into custody. I was thinking that, oh, Shockwave's not going to come back because he'd have to be unfrozen with the immobilizer. But apparently it seems as though Shockwave will be coming back here, and he's just right out about in Witwicky, and Robbie is seen here fighting Shockwave with his cyber sleeve shield. An interesting thing here to note, though, is when Robbie knocks down Shockwave, you can actually see on Shockwave's right shoulder here, he's got one of the mind control chips that Mandroid had put on hashtag and Grimlock back in episode 17 and 18 on his shoulder. So does this mean that since the finale of Season 1B, Mandroid has created a bunch more of his mind control chips to take control of other Cybertronians, and he was maybe using the other Decepticons that were in prison, like Shockwave, Soundwave, Starscream, and others, to sort of act as his soldiers? That would be a really cool case, and it wouldn't be out of left field considering we've seen him do this before. Back in episodes 1 and 2, he used this to take control of Hardtop and Skullcruncher and the Insecticons. In episodes 17 and 18, he used to take control of hashtag and Grimlock. So he used it here on Shockwave, and I'm pretty sure he uses it on someone else that we'll see later on this trailer. But yeah, it's been really interesting to see though that Shockwave is back. I am happy though, because that means we're going to be seeing here more of Troy Baker as Shockwave. So that's always going to be a plus as well. The second last thing I want to point out with this trailer is that there's a lot of scenes here involving Nightshade that are really, really interesting. The first scene we have here of Nightshade is actually of them putting on the hologram projector that Tarantulas and they made all the way back in episode 13. If you remember this was the hologram projector that Tarantulas wanted to try and make so that he could create his own human avatar to sort of blend in with human society, and Nightshade helped him finish that. But by the end of the episode, when Nightshade and Tarantulas got into their fight, ended up being broken, but Tarantulas left the projector behind when he distracted a ghost helicopter so that Nightshade and everyone else could get away. Could it be possible that Nightshade went about to fix this? Because we see them put it on their chest in not one but two shots. One that is a close-up of Nightshade putting it on their chest and activating it, and the other one here of Nightshade putting it on their chest again, but Bumblebee and Twitch are behind them, with Twitch looking at Nightshade put the device on their chest. We even actually see before this a shot of what appears to be Nightshade battling a Sharkticon. We literally see them in this forest, very similar to one in episode 13, a sort of foggy night, very similar to how the sky looks in episode 24 of Battle Witwicky. Nightshade here straight up uppercuts this Sharkticon out of nowhere. We don't know where this Sharkticon even came from. Are they a servant of Mandroid, or like just a wild Sharkticon out in the wilderness? Who knows? Maybe this is the unknown threat that the Robbie and Mo get stuck underground with in episode 21. They had to work with Starscream. Maybe they get chased by a Sharkticon. Who knows? But it's really interesting. What's also interesting though is that this whole time Nightshade, it seems to be narrating to someone that that an unknown person wants to destroy all Autobots, Decepticons, and Terrans. We don't know who they're talking about, but put two and two together, I'm pretty sure that Nightshade is talking about Mandroid. The real question is though, who is Nightshade telling this to? Because the only person in my mind who wouldn't know about Mandroid is Agent Schloeder. Now, if you remember back in episode 14, Agent Schloeder clearly has a problem with how Agent Croft, his sister, runs Ghost, and that she's very ruthless. She wants to get rid of all Autobots and Decepticons, just no Transformers on Earth at all. Well, Agent Schloeder seems to be a bit more sympathetic to the point where he just wants to go after Decepticons, because to him, it seems as though only Decepticons are bad. And this is reinforced by not only a clip in this trailer, but a screenshot that was actually posted by Paramount of the last episode of EarthSpark. So, as Nightshade is giving this monologue, we do see for a very split second, and I mean a very, very split second, of what looks to be Twitch, Nightshade, and Bumblebee running towards this red space bridge in this large cave, or open cave. And it's really interesting here, because if you look to the left and right of Twitch here, even a bit more, there are not one, not two, but 3 Nightshades running towards this space bridge alongside Bumblebee and Twitch. So you're thinking, how are there 3 Nightshades? Well, do you remember what I said earlier about how Nightshade puts on a device that looks very similar to the holographic projector that they and Tarantulas made? What if Nightshade actually fixed it and they are able to create several holographic decoys of themselves to confuse their enemies? So that's what it looks like here. We see Twitch, Bumblebee, a bunch of Nightshade clones, and surprisingly, in front of Twitch, you can see here a human who looks very similar to Agent Schloeder rushing towards this space bridge guarded by a bunch of ghost soldiers. So what is the space bridge and what is Ghost doing with it? Are they planning to maybe invade Cybertron, sort of destroy it, wipe out all Transformers as we know it, and that maybe at this point, the person that Nightshade is talking to is about wanting to destroy all Autobots, Decepticons, and Terrans? Is Nightshade maybe trying to convince Agent Schloeder that Mandroid is bad and that he should help them stop Mandroid? And as we see here, maybe this is from episode 26, Last Hope Part 2, where we see Agent Schloeder has finally turned on Ghost, and he is willing to help Bumblebee, Twitch, and Nightshade battle Ghost to stop them and Agent Croft and Mandroid from destroying all those Transformers. Speaking of Mandroid, we do see this unknown heavyweight figure approaching the space bridge. We only see their back, but from the look of it, I'm not exactly sure who this is. Is this Mandroid in some big exosuit, or is it a brand new character that we have yet to meet? I have no idea, but it's really, really interesting, and I can't wait to see this final batch to get a better look at what's going on here. That leads us to pretty much the final shot that we can talk about for this trailer, and it is a really, really big one. We have here at a stormy or like just dark night sky on this big desert rock, we have Megatron covered in darkness aiming his fusion cannon right at Twitch, who is knocked down on the ground, staring the fusion cannon right in his face. So, wow. First off, what does this mean? Does this mean, oh, Megatron's gonna turn evil? Has he been playing a big con the whole time and that he's just been waiting for the right time to betray everyone? I don't think so, and I certainly hope that's not the case. I do not want to see Megatron just suddenly turn evil for no reason. And I think I've got proof here to prove that Megatron is not evil. If you look closely at Megatron's eyes here, they're white. Now, who else have we seen with white eyes? Well, let's see. We've seen Hardtop when he was controlled by Mandroid, Grimlock when he was controlled by Mandroid, and Hashtag when she was controlled by Mandroid. So what does Megatron having white eyes mean? I believe this is probably from the very last episode of EarthSpark. It will be Mandroid taking control of Megatron and ordering him to kill Twitch and the rest of the Terrans. And I bet there will be some really nice moment where it's going to be Twitch trying to reach out to Megatron, convince him to fight Mandroid's programming and break free. It's going to be really heartfelt, and I'm super excited for it. But there is something also really interesting about this in the background above Megatron in the top left. In the top left, you can see this giant stone obelisk pulsating with red energy behind Megatron, with what appears to be some sort of dead, sticky creature on the bottom. But on top, you can actually see Dot, Alex, Robbie, and Mo tied to this rock, just bound to it. And the reason why we know it's Dot, Robbie, Mo, and Alex is because, well, you are able to notice that it's them if you look really closely, but also a screenshot was posted of Last Hope Part 2 where we see a close-up of Alex and Dot here tied up to this rock. We see they both got these big weird red bubbles wrapped around their head, almost like space helmets. So what exactly does this mean? It looks very similar, in fact, to the parasite that took over the Mama Bear back in episode 15, Bare Necessities. So does this mean that some sort of alien parasite is trying to take over, like, the world or something, and it's Mandroid's using it to try and take control of Megatron? I have no idea, but that's pretty much all we can talk about with this trailer. The final batch of Transformers EarthSpark will be released a week from today on July 28th. And so that was my analysis on everything we learned about Transformers EarthSpark Season 1C from San Diego Comic-Con 2023. We got a brand new 30-second trailer showcasing a lot of stuff from the last 8 episodes, as well as a bunch of screenshots as well. So are you guys excited as I am for the final batch of Transformers EarthSpark Season 1 and ready to see how this season ends? If you are, be sure to come back on Friday, July 28th, or Saturday, July 29th, when I'll be uploading my review of Episode 19, A Stingy Situation, and be sure to keep an eye out every Friday after that for other reviews of the rest of the EarthSpark, where I will be finishing off with a double review of episodes 25 and 26, Last Hope Parts 1 and 2. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and of course subscribe, and I will see you guys later.